This is an emotional topic for me and I don't even think we'll have enough time. I explained that I've been fighting for this lighty for 11 years. For these kids, it's been less than a year now. Ukuthi ngijola nobani asihluyene mina nawe. Nami I'm not checking up on your life. Uthi kuse ujola nobani. So manje mawusujola ngifuna ukuthatha izingane zami. So it cannot be that you police my life. What I was actually saying is I'm done sending imali to ingane zami.
Benzo.
Yeah. Angeke ngikuthumele inyuku for kids that I'm not seeing. Umjito has been providing for his kids for 5 years, for the child for 5 years. And it came out now that there was never a child. There's something called parental alienation, which is when a parent is denied access to their child. It is one of the main causes of men taking their lives. The first mother got married to another man. They were married for 2 years, they got divorced. And before they got married, they were together maybe for another 3 years prior. Throughout the time they were together and married, she told him, I never provided. Umjito was taking care of my son. PENUEL is a deadbeat. That was his understanding. Anyone in society that still wants men to carry on doing the right thing while sheltering toxic women are now defending toxicity. And I think that then creates the society that we're in now, where women see men as ATMs and they deny them kids and. South Africans, ordinary South Africans in the last 30 years have seen the injustices. We've seen that we have no borders.
The black pen is back. Po, 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 po.
Yeah.
The black pen.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I said, DJ Spoo, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I missed you, bro. I'm good.
Nah, it's been a while, but it was always going to happen. People need to understand, man, that work is work and ngiyapithizela in life. And it's not because people are beefing or whatever the case may be. It's just impilo nespan. And now with DJ Spoo on Radio 2000, so obviously asababoni, ba busy, mofa iyakhula, ba busy. Ukraine Spoo.
How have you been?
Nah, I've been good, man. It's been a while. We can't even have to Bluetooth 5.
Yeah, no.
It's been a while, man. So many people.
Missed you, man. Good to see you.
Thank you, Spooda.
Yeah.
Thank you, Spooda. So many people have missed the brotherhood we were building. And I realized that from Virtual Mkuku, I look at all the podcasts. There are no podcasts where guys give each other love in real time on screen ever. I'm proud of you. You know, what you're doing is amazing. That's so great. That guy is doing so amazing. Big ups to him. Other platforms actually do not do that.
Access. And somebody was saying to me, you and PENUEL, for whatever reason, behind the scenes, it is nyanyanyisa. Because if you didn't stop with Virtual Mkuku, where it would be today, it's so amazing. And he even made an example and said, Charlemagne has got the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne has got his other platform, and then what's his other Charlemagne Gutubana.
Sure.
He's also a comedian. He's a comedian, he's got a great career, and he also has got his own podcast. But they come together and do a podcast called The Brilliant Idiots.
Yeah.
And then he said, you guys could have done the same. And then I didn't have answers for him, but I was like, no, but it's busy, so you too, you know?
Sure.
And we're also growing in our own facets. And that person was saying, we are sibonga. Into with the platform because of us around that time. He started his own YouTube. And his YouTube now is on over 50,000.
Jeez, that's brilliant. Shout out to that person. I'll take the blame, guys. I'm sorry.
No, I'll take the blame.
No, stop it.
But
Hey, stop it. I'll give you guys a bit of insight. So 2022, I launched the PENUEL show. And at that time, we carried on filming a Virtual Mkuku. But it got too busy. I had my channel, I had the PENUEL show, I had a Virtual Mkuku. We launched the Virtual Mkuku channel, a new baby. It got very busy for me. And as you guys know, we're fathers. There are other things that we have to do in life. We have to travel and stuff. So it got too much. Ngicela uSibudi ukuthi ngicela nje ukuyofocus kwi-PENUEL show and grow it. And he was like, Fitz, I'm giving you love and blessings. Go do your thing. And I'm actually the reason why we killed the momentum that we've been building on. I don't know if we're going to get back to it if time allows. as I said, you're busy now, and life is happening. But if ever the universe allows it to be as we are here today, we'll see. Because the brotherhood is there. Sisapusha, saspana. It's just universe alignment willing.
No, but with that being said, congratulations on everything, bro.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you, and thank you for the consistency.
I try. I come from the DJ School of Hard Knocks. Ngiyazi kuyaspana.
Asiqale lana mfowethu. You posted something about 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to give you a call. I was like, but let me not.
Sure.
So that's my first question. You said I'm going to be a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
And then knowing you, I know you could never be a deadbeat.
Sure.
Right? And then I read your reasons. I sort of understood. And that's where I wanted us to start.
Yeah. Oh, this is an emotional topic for me, and I don't even think we'll have enough time. So I went and I made a live video giving a spotlight into my personal life as a father. Social media is a very dangerous place. Social media is a very toxic space. And the last thing you want to do is bring your romantic partner and bring your children into the line of fire. They never chose to have Sbusiso Liope as their father, or PENUEL Mlocho as their father. They didn't choose to have Kanye West as their father, to go out there and to post pictures of me. I didn't ask. I was born into this world. Now, it so happens that my father is PENUEL the Black Pen, and he's vocal about many societal issues. Our families, black people's dilemmas, money issues that we have, and so many other things as well. And one of them is myself as a father. Now, I'm not a picture-perfect father. I didn't get married to a woman and we had 3 kids and then we got divorced. I'm the guy who never got married. I'm the guy who doesn't believe in marriage. I'm the guy who wanted to have a lot of kids. And as life would have it, I would end up in 2024 with 7 children who happen to come from 5 mothers. And because I say that and because I own it, people have this perception that I'm boasting. And that's not the case. In that video, I also try, and I've tried on many platforms, it's just because Twitter and those spaces are about toxicity, people don't care about the substance, and it's fine. But I try every time to explain that relationships start and end. Many of the hustlers out there, ex 5. It just so happens that you and your exes decided to not have kids, or maybe unfortunately your woman had a miscarriage, or unfortunately your woman decided to have an abortion, have a morning after, whatever the case may be. But the reality is when I'm my ex and you've got no kids, so when I because you don't have kids like me, I happen to date women where we intentionally decided to bring life here. But as life would have it, just like your relationships out there, the relationships come to an end, either because of me and cheating, as guys cheat out there, or the woman herself decides she wants to move away, it's life. But there happens to be a child or children that come from that. And over a period of 15 years now, from when I first had Malanga to my last born, Uzuri, 15 years, I've got 7 children. That doesn't mean every month, or every year. If you look at the maths, it's on average about 1 child every 2 years, which is not the craziest thing. So even the idea that is not accurate. With that being said, I like learning and I like teaching where I can. What I've learned, but also my own experiences. That's why we speak about, guys, take your phone, record. This is how much we make on YouTube. Guys, this is how I started More Fire, because we're sharing our personal experiences. It does involve women who I have not mentioned. I've never, ever named the mothers of my kids, which is inhlonipho that I give them. I mention my children because they're mine. I love them. That is something I'm against. With that being said, I don't speak about some of the most sensitive things, even with the mothers. If the mothers and their families have got financial issues, they've got family politics, I've never shared that. The only stuff I've ever shared has to do with me and the child and any issues we have, of which those issues are public knowledge because of the courts. These are matters that if you go to Randburg, Pretoria, Newcastle, you'll find those matters there. So it's not like I'm disclosing things that are not or things that are so sensitive ukuthi mina ngasho ukuthi hey lo mama lo yaze ekhaya kubo bayathakatha. I've never ever done that. So even when people bash me when I tell my story, I've gone through a lot of thought and I've tried my best to protect umama wengane yami, because it is umama wengane yami at the end of the day. And I've tried, even when I speak about my kids, to protect my kids in some way. But I am the black pen. I'm not Utemba out there. I'm not Usipo out there. I'm not Ukabelo out there. I'm me. And I can't pretend to be someone else. Just like it would be weird for other people to pretend to be you. Now, and you're like, oh, you're trying to be smooth, but you're not. If he inspires you to be a certain way, that's fine. But to be him when your personality doesn't allow, that thing. So in the spirit of that, I've been speaking about specifically Ntwana ya Muzulu. We've spoken about him on a platform as well. Hustlers Corner Virtual Mkuku, one of the two. We spoke about Ntwana ya Muzulu. 11 years I've been fighting for Ntwana, specifically him. Then my two other kids, Ushaga, No Culture, it's literally been less than a year. It's going to be a year in December. Me and the mom, and I speak about it, we're co-parenting very well.
So when you're saying it's going to be a year in December, what do you mean?
I'm fighting.
That you have not seen them?
That I haven't seen them the way I used to see them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, that's a new story. But I have to add it to this story because it's part of now the 3 kids that I'm walking away. Out of 7 kids, 3. I explained that I've been fighting for this lighty for 11 years. For these kids, it's been less than a year now. I'm not going to pretend like we didn't co-parent well with the mother. We did. With the other mother, we've never co-parented well. Then I have to emphasize that all the other kids with the mom, sikrend. No, these are isolated incidents. This woman, it's one case. And I've chronicled that case over the years. There are maybe 6 videos on YouTube that I've made. Every time we court, my story, the mom didn't show up. I went to the police didn't arrest. This is the issue. And I've learned about the laws. When it came to this new mom, the issue had to do with the insecurities from her side, for me, which should never be a factor. Ukuthi ngijola nobani asihluyene mina nawe. Nami I'm not checking up on your life. Uthi kuse ujola nobani. So manje mawusujola ngifuna ukuthatha izingane zami. So it cannot be that you police my life. And mina, my life is open. If some woman comes and says, do you know PENUEL has got other women? You'd be like, the whole of South Africa knows. This is not something he hides. So Siswami, either you're lying to yourself or maybe you've just never heard. But all of us know, number one. Number two, if you've got an issue, is it because niyajola? No, but the thing is my kids, anjoli. So thinking about the other woman's what? No, I just don't want my kids around, but that's their father. If ubabu abu musamselegu, Jacob Zuma, that is their father. Usungai saw like you should never have had kids with this guy. But his childhood, when you met him, what was the situation? And be honest. So with that being said, I've struggled to gain access to my kids, and we had a mediation. And I got to a point where I was like, I think thinking I am is that I'm enabling bad behavior. And I think many good men enable bad behavior. Mind you, I'm not talking about bad people. These women are good people. But good people can also have bad behavior. And I don't want to enable the bad behavior anymore. And I made a decision. And I know it's a very catchy title. It's clickbait. I get attacked for it on Twitter now because I decided to use that title. What I was actually saying is I'm done sending imali to Inganzami.
Benzo.
Yeah. No, you can criticize me. Let me finish this point.
Okay.
I'm done sending money to Inganzami. And I'm done bending over backwards to chase the mothers, to take them to courts, to try and go see my kids. And in the video, I try to emphasize this. But of course, people don't listen once their emotions are high. I am willing at any given time to provide for my children, including these 3, but on condition that the mothers bring them. Angeke ngithumele inyuku for kids that I'm not seeing. I'm happy to provide. Ingane yami ishoda ngeskipa. Bring the child to me, I'll go shopping with the child. Because again, as I said, it's been 11 years with the one. And then it's been a year now with the others, where even in the years before, ngithumele inyuku, and then I travel. I fly or I drive. I'm always the one going beyond. When it's time for me to have ingane yami awufuni. And I'm like, I think I'm the reason why they have the confidence of doing the things they do, because no matter what they do, I still keep providing for my kids. And I'm like, no, I'm dying inside.
Have you taken them to court?
I have.
Did it rule against you? Did it rule in their favor?
It's more complicated than that. So before I answer the court aspect, I'd like you, when you were saying no, why you were saying no. I said I've decided I'm not going to send money for my kids anymore.
The reason I was saying no, because I don't look at it as now. I look at it from 20 years from today, 15 years from today, when your kids are in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Daddy, what did you do? Why did you even stop sending financial support?
Sure.
What did you think I was eating all of those years?
Sure.
Are you going to blame the mother again?
Do you believe that a man should continue providing in a situation where he's being denied access to his kids? And if the answer is yes, is it from a place of genuine care or because of that concern of the kids coming back later?
For me, and I think with the courts also, on a matter like this, what matters is the kids.
Sure.
And it's said that on the other side does not look at it that way, because
Sure.
whatever issues that you guys have, it doesn't matter. It's about the kid.
Sure.
And it's about how they're going to grow up. And as you are living this life, deciding, and it's not something that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
As you're saying, everybody has heard you. It's going to be even more painful for you. It's going to be even more painful because it's not something that you wanted to do.
Sure.
But if she lets you do it,
Sure.
iminyaka izolobele ihamba, and you will know consciously ukuthi angisigayi inyuku iy'ncosi zami.
Sure.
Although it's not my fault, mara ngisigayi inyuku iy'ncosi zami. Zidlani?
Sure.
Zigqokani? Zikhuliswa ubani?
There's a story that came out this week of a lady that's been arrested. I don't know her name, and I don't know where the case is. People can go and check it out. Umjolo has been providing for his kids for 5 years, for the child for 5 years. And it came out now that there was never a child. Now, the comments on social media, a lot of them were, how Umjolo for 5 years, akazange nje ayochecking ngane. Which for me, immediately because of my experience, it was the trigger of, there's a reason why this lady was never forthcoming with the child. And I'm sure Umjolo kept saying, tumeli ngane. There was a child she once brought to him. There was a child once. Part of the issue is now when she was supposed to bring the child again, I said, the first time. By the way. There's something called parental alienation, which is when a parent is denied access to their child. It is one of the main causes of men taking their lives. There are fathers who are not mentally strong for many reasons. And after they've been failed by the courts, the girl's family, the pain of not seeing your child. Because understand, not seeing your child is like being told ingane yakho ishonile, ifile. But uyayibona there through the class. Nah, ingane yami ifile. It's like your child is in prison. But your child is here, but akathinteki. And for many guys, that leads to the breakdown of the psychological state. Like many other things. People take their lives for debt. People take their lives for failing matric. People take their lives for heartbreak. A girl broke their heart. Cheating. And you can imagine if you're a loving parent that really loves their kids, who was there at the birth, who's been providing, who sweats, people calling you names just to make money to feed your kids, that when you're denied access to those kids, it can lead to a mental breakdown. So there are instances where men provide for kids they don't see, is the one thing I wanted to say. And there was a lady that was arrested because the guy was providing, but there was no child even. In my instance, and again, this has taken many years. This is not something I woke up yesterday in 2 months and I decided to walk away. In my instance, the two mothers I'm speaking about on the record have gone on to lie about my maintenance. They've gone on to lie. The first mother got married to another man. They were married for 2 years. They got divorced. And before they got married, they were together maybe for another 3 years prior. Throughout the time they were together and married, she told him I never provided. Umjolo was taking care of my son. PENUEL is a deadbeat. That was his understanding. It would only be when they get divorced and he's being denied access to his child that they had.
Oh, they had a child.
They had a child as well,
okay.
Yeah. It was only after where he started struggling to gain access to his child where he reached out to me. And I sent him proof of the money I'd been sending. He's like, kanjani? Ngoba mos lo sise bengitshela ukuthi mina there's no money you're sending. And I'm like, okay. And you are providing on the basis ukuthi angithumeli inyuku. He's like, that was my understanding. The other lady, same thing. In a mediation, she's like, this guy doesn't provide. I'm like, I can forward bank statements now. The mediator's like, Mama, bank statements. She's like, I don't even need his money anyways. I'm like, uzoqamba manga. Uzoqamba manga. The other mom, by the way, when we had a mediation, I spoke about that I'm sending money straight. Because after what happened, I was like, Zotumeli Nyugu straight to his scale for school fees.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I send money to his fees. The mom's like, I've never seen it. The mediator's like, Manje, Mama, do you not? She's like, well, I never look at the statement. Says call. I'm like, these are pathological liars. This goes back to what I was saying about enabling behavior. So out of my guilt for my children, out of my worry for my kids, Ntumeli knew, but I'm not sure if my children know that I'm sending money. I don't know if my children get that money at all. So that's why I'm saying, Baba, what did you think I was eating? Men get trashed. You weren't providing. My response now, because of my experience, I can't speak about other deadbeat men. Because I'm not here to protect amachita izinja. Amachita izinja must step up, they must do the right thing. I'm not the face of those men. If inganyamilambile ayina impahla ngubabwazo. I am not hidden. Baba samcela ngo95 asimazi ukuphi sagcina kuthiwa usegoli. I am on social media. Random people that don't know me can get me via DM. I post events where I'm going to be speaking. I'm not hidden at all. If shows like, Pap Health and what want to find me, ngla. And I'll tell them, if you're telling me my child is hungry, I'm here. Please tell my child to come to me. I'll feed them. I'll send them home with groceries. I'm not denying them anything. If there's someone that's denying the children something, go ask her. Why is the child hungry, mama no baba? Angazibuza yena. PENUEL indaba ingane lambile ngithi angazi ilethe la ingane. No, I'm not sending my child there. That's where my problem is. I must keep sending money when I don't know where the money is going, who it's going to. Because in my head, I'm like, ish, but it's been so long, specifically with this one case, where I'm like, I can keep doing that out of my guilt, but there could still be a narrative out there where Ntwana still comes back with 19. When I was on, all the time, and I show him bank statements and he breaks down. How do I manage if that boy hates his mom, violates his mom? What happens if that boy takes his own life? Because it's like, that woman was lying to me this whole time. Now I'm being zonda. She did everything for me, but now I feel lost. So it's like, nah, I will go on platforms as I normally do, and I'll be like, I'm always here for my kids. People can find me. And I even tell people where we film. They know. We film in Newtown. I film in Randburg. People see me wherever I'm speaking. You can find me. Come find me anytime. In Inganyama ifuni nyugu, so ikai nyugu cash straight. I am not denying my kids anything. But it's up to the mom to be like, okay, if he says he'll provide for the child, let's take the child so he can provide. But if she refuses to do that, I'm sorry to carry that cross. That is not my cross to bear. And I'm at an angry place where anyone in society that still wants men to carry on doing the right thing while sheltering toxic women are now defending toxicity. And I think that then creates the society that we're in now, where women see men as ATMs and they deny them kids and. And I do believe there's a psychological benefit. I've said this on another platform a year or two ago. There's a psychological benefit in Intwana going with the timer to the shops, so that it doesn't matter who says what. It's like, let's keep a list ngathi ngelo itime alarm. Sasindawonye silinganisa. Itime alarm sasingena la etoilet hey ungakuthatha lokhu kuyabheda. No, this food has got preservatives ogulisa. No, we believe in health. So my father, I've bought with him. He's given me cash for his school fees. I wasn't told that he sends an EFT. Even guy cash ngihambe ngiyoyikhokha. No one ever lied to me because I saw him straight doing these things. So that's my stance, and if I'm wrong for it, it's a cross I'll carry. But my kids can then, when we speak about receipts, my kids can revert back to these videos. Their friends, their family members can always go back to these videos. Which your father said, come to me, and the person that was denying you access was your mom. Because he was providing up until a point where he realized your mom was lying about provision. He wasn't sure if you were getting the money and the things, and he realized that he's enabling toxic behavior.
Jeds, thank you so much for tuning in. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I know PENUEL is a very intelligent, well-informed guy. On the radio this past week, we're talking about the new South African laws that are going to be enforced from now on moving forward. And the laws say if you do not support your child, they're now going to be going after your estate, they'll be going after your assets, and they're going to attach. And that's the government. Have you heard of that? And what is your take?
So I haven't heard the changing of the laws, but my understanding of
I
maintenance...
wouldn't say changing, maybe enhancement or something.
Okay.
And they're going to enforce those
Maybe
laws.
more enforcement.
Yeah.
There's another story that came out, man, and I'm going to make a video about this personally on a podcast platform. There was a gent who was arrested for not failing to provide for the kids. He was providing. He failed to provide according to agreement. So the guy's a businessman. Anyone who knows business is up and down. Sometimes you can have a successful business, but invoices haven't been paid. 3 children. He was providing 22,000 Rand a month for the 3 kids. The agreement, the maintenance order said he must provide 60,000. So because of that, they arrested him. And his appeal was, I have to run my business, otherwise I can't provide.
The mining guy, right?
I think the mining guy, yeah.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we'll make an arrangement where we'll arrest you on weekends until you finish your 30 days.
And let you go Monday morning.
And we'll arrest you on Friday and let you go Monday morning.
So
because we want to send a message out there.
Monday exen,
Sure.
uyabuya.
Which for many people it's a celebration. For me, it's you go to Inganena 10. Would you like to see your father arrested? No. Because there was a period in 2018 where a police officer said, "Sngambophu mama, you just need to make the call." I was like, I do not think my son would ever forgive me. I will take the hits. I will suffer. It's fine. From that point on, when I was told, get the mom arrested, I was like, and then the police were like, no, but and I was like, I know. They've never arrested the mom. There's 1 or 2 cases of women that have been arrested for denying access. But in my case, I've struggled. In many of the other men's cases that I'm aware of, they've struggled. No child, when we speak about the best interests of the child, would want their father arrested for something like maintenance, where I'm maintaining, it's just not at a level. If anything, the child would be like, yes, go take his fancy car and sell it. Go attach the assets, go whatever. But my father's going to be in jail and have a criminal record like other criminals. I don't think that's in the best interest of the child. I don't think it's in the best interest of the man. I don't think it's in the best interest of the mom. Because as much as he's running his business during the week, some business deals are signed during weekends. If you're in mining, you're working during the weekend. But manje, people clap hands, and I look at this retarded society that we're in that is applauding all this bullshit. Fana no mama boshwayo. Umama should not be arrested for having a child taken, for denying access to the father. The punishment that's befitting for me in a situation like that is the child gets taken away from umama. And ubaba's given the child, and they told mama, you will not have access to this child. That should be prison in itself. You will not see this child for a year. Carry on with your life, make money, but jele. But jele is the child is with their loving father because you failed to do the right thing. But umama's got a criminal record. Umama's being violated in prison. We don't know the psychological state of her in prison. And if she comes out, she might end up harming the child. But we applaud these laws. I understand the whole thing is to deter bad behavior. But the reality is that I don't think, per the Children's Act, it's in the best interest of the child.
I understand what you're saying, but what you were saying in that video 2 weeks ago will not be possible because of these, I don't want to call them new laws, but because of
What
this.
won't be possible?
For you to be a deadbeat dad, for you
not maintain.
For you to not maintain your children, yeah.
It's very possible.
As I'm saying, the laws are going to be enforced, and
Sure.
they want to come and attach your assets.
Sure. So, hey, man, the law in this country actually frustrates me. We live in South Africa where we are led by, today, the GNU, the ANC, the DA, and other political parties. South Africans, ordinary South Africans in the last 30 years have seen the injustices. We've seen that we have no borders. We buy every day from undocumented foreigners. We've seen tenderpreneurs get away with crimes. We've seen politicians get away with crimes. We've seen presidents get away with crimes. Some of our favorite personalities, Osenzo Meyiwa, or Kenan Forbes, Abo Tibbs, have been murdered. There's no justice in this country. There's selective justice. I'm saying this on the backdrop of, yeah, there are laws. Unfortunately, they are not enforced. Because if they were enforced, they wouldn't need to attach my assets. I would have gotten justice and I'd be seeing my kids. So if I'm going to get punished for deciding to not send money, but Mama was not punished for denying me the kids, that's not going to tell me that there's law in this country. It's going to tell me that there's an agenda in this country. And the agenda is going to be to punish certain people or PENUEL because they've got big mouths and bapapa. Or the agenda is to make sure that we're constantly oppressing men. Men must always get hammered. No more want to 22,000, for no 60,000, Baba. Or Black Coffee had to hire big lawyers because now they were trying to milk huge child and spousal maintenance orders. Versus, you look at this case of this mining guy and the 60,000. There was a stepfather recently who was ordered to carry on maintaining stepchildren. One of the funniest stories.
Was he sure they were not his kids?
They're not his kids.
Yeah.
These are stepchildren.
Sure.
Must I deviate? But anyways, look.
Sort of for making you off ramp.
No. We'll off ramp.
Okay.
But I'll off ramp just now. I wanted to say this. Not me, because I'm not a deadbeat. Many men do not maintain their kids. And the only reason they will maintain is if the mom takes them to court, not because the laws have changed. If the mom takes them to court and the mom makes sure that she's got all her evidence in a row. And if you have a fair magistrate or a judge that does the right things, then you'll get arrested, or they'll attach your assets, or they'll force some type of order. That's why, to what you were saying, which you won't be able to, I'm like, there are people doing it every day. Because the laws are there, but they're not enforced in this country. Because our legal system is that weak. So the mothers that I'm speaking about would have to take me to maintenance court. And if they're watching or their friends are watching, they can tell them, PENUEL, yes, in a court. And I'm like, please take me. And then when we get to court, I'm going to give my entire story. And then when that comes out and maybe they attach my assets, it's fine. They can win. They can take my money, especially if it's going to my kids. So it wouldn't be a loss for me. But I'm going to want that story to be known out there that I never received justice when I asked for it. When I said, let me feed my child, the same courts failed me. When I walked away and then the mom said, he's not feeding his child, then the law jumped. And then I have to ask the question of, what the fuck are you guys applauding? And how many other men are dying in silence out there? Because when men seek justice, or some men seek justice, abayitholi. And then the guy says, you know what, ngoba ngihlulekile, ngcono ngihambe. Mesu mama, uyaphi? Buya la. Then all of a sudden the courts jump. But what about the kids? There was no what about the kids when no PENUEL were making videos crying for their children. Hey, nango those a crying man. Oh, such a turnoff. I'm crying for my kids. If a woman jumps on a thing today and starts crying about her kids, the sympathy, because no one cares about men's tears. Tyrese was on the Breakfast Club saying this. There's a divorce, a child dies, no one checks up on the men. Even in Mwabeni, no one ever goes to Mkulu, right? No one goes to the, hey, bafowethu, siyabona nimile la, nqinisimhlathi, are you okay, bro? If you want to talk, I'm here. We focus so much on the women and hence why 4 out of 5 suicide cases in the world are men. Because men are dying inside. And the few idiot men that decide to cry out get attacked on social media, or they failed by the courts. So, if anything, Mina, I would probably welcome the moms taking me to court. Because I'd be like, oh, okay, finally they're doing something. Let me tell my story and see if I will finally get justice on their case. Where a magistrate says, but Mama, Ubaba said. Then she must like, yeah, but but Mama, Ubaba's saying he's willing to maintain the kids. But angeka thumeli nyuku, uthi ingane mazimvakashela, then Mama, what's inkinga? And Ubaba Nang has shown us all the cases over the years where, so Mama, please let us know what's going on. If that magistrate says, Baba, we don't care about all these other cases, you want to maintain, I'm going to be like, oh, it's a reminder. You guys don't care. It's actually not about the kids here. I'm trying to tell you, Mpumapi. You guys are telling me, fuck, Ugutu Pumapi. Tumeli new. You want to say something before I take the off-ramp?
Before you take the off-ramp, to mention this on this podcast.
Sure.
Because ultimately, I think that as the mothers jump and they take you to court, will work towards your favor. I'm talking about you and other dads out there who might be in a similar situation. Because once they then take you to court to continue maintaining, they're going to have to lay the cards on the table of the entire case. And now you're going to state your case.
Sure.
And that's when the truth is going to come out. And maybe that's when you'll get your justice.
A narcissist won't do that, unfortunately. If anyone knows narcissism, there's an amazing movie by one of my favorite directors. But it's Gone Girl. The movie is Gone Girl. I'll get the director's name. He did Fight Club as well. I'll get his name. In Gone Girl, if you've never watched it, with Ben Affleck and this lady who's a sensational actress, you see what a narcissist is. And many women are narcissists. It's all about me and my pain and my suffering and what must our mother go through. And us single mothers are struggling. You're not a single mother. I was dagger. The father's there. He shows up. The only reason you're making noise is because the child lives with you. The reason I was bringing up the stepfather case was because I wanted to say one of the problems we have in the law is that women demand men to provide. But no one ever says, if the man is providing the bulk of the money, would it not be best for the child to live with the man? Why do you think it's in the best interest of the child to live with you if he's sending all or most of the money? A stepfather in Cape Town has kids. He meets a woman. She has kids. They both have failed marriages. They get together. They get married. The guy's kids live with their mom. This woman brings her kids into their marital home. There's many issues around it, but the bottom line is they get divorced. The stepfather, while he was there, is super rich. He took them into a 10 million rand house, overseas travel trips. He took the kids to expensive private schools. We're getting divorced. Umchida's like, I know, sing out. The mom takes him to court. You got me and the kids accustomed to a certain lifestyle. You have to carry on providing for these kids that are not yours, who have their own father. And in the case, one of the things that comes out is the father is maintaining. The kid's biological father is maintaining these kids. The stepfather was trying to be umchito krent. Sisuzo ishatelu sbu nenyu. Sbu's like, no, man. I'm DJ Sbu. I love my stepkids. These kids don't have to study. I can afford more. We can move into this house. I'm going overseas. Let's take the whole family with. That kindness now in a court of law is saying, carry on providing for children that are not yours, children who have a father who is maintaining, who have a mother who has a job.
So the court ruled against him.
The court ruled that the stepfather must carry on providing.
For kids that are not his.
Kids that are not his.
Even after divorce.
So my point was going to be this in that example. If this guy is providing for those stepkids, the court should say, Ish, Mama, we hear you. So Baba's paying the bulk of and the bulk. No, you know what, Baba? You're going to carry on providing, maybe not stepkids in this case. You're going to carry on providing for these kids. Mama, you happy? Yes. Okay, the kids are going to go live with you, Baba. Eh? No, Angiti, ufunu Baba provide. Yes. Yeah, the kids will go live with him. No. But Mama, Angiti want what's best for the kids. Yes. Yeah, he'll carry on providing. You'll see the kids on weekends. No, that's not fair. That's where you realize again, the law is not about what's best for the family and what. It's about favoring lo mama lo. No, kids are best with their mom. Says who? Where's the science? There's the stats that say the bulk of people in jail are from single mother households. And what those reports conclude is this is why it's important for fathers to be in the home. Look at all these jailbirds. The bulk of them didn't grow up with their dad. The conclusion is, gents, don't walk away from your kids, be present. No one in those reports asks, but these kids were raised by their mothers, Mos. What did the mothers do wrong for these kids to become criminals? If the guy in Kinga moved, the guy can't say, Lengani is gebeng because of me. I wasn't there. No one ever looks at those matters. So similarly, mom can't provide, Enhle can't provide. Black coffee is the money guy. It's fine. Then let the kids live with black coffee, with a full-time nanny. Enhle will see them on the weekends, because that's what men get. But men get those second weekends, and they must send the money, which tells me that the law is not about the kids, and it's not about doing what's right. It's about ensuring that a woman gets the money sent from Umchita, and Umchita must suffer no matter what. And those things need to change, at least for me.
Would you love to live with your kids? Would you welcome that decision if it were to be made? Grootman Atamafugate has been a single dad for quite some time, and I think he's parented well. He's done incredible work. At some point,
is he a single dad?
I don't know now,
Sure.
but at some point, a couple of years ago, I had a chat with him. He did tell me that for a couple of years, for a significant chunk, I think over a decade or so, he was a single dad to his kids, yeah.
I only ask not because I'm trying to defend women. I have an issue with women who like waving the single mother label as a badge of honor. There's data that shows that kids raised by single fathers do much better. They do much better than kids raised by single moms, and they do much better than kids that are raised in a two-parent household, according to the stats. One of the things I counter when I hear those stats, because they sound nice for single fathers, I'm like, there are so few single fathers, so the data is probably going to be skewed, number one. Number two, for men to decide to step up and raise their kids means they're already outstanding men. Whereas single mothers, normally it's by default. A lot of women become single mothers not by choice. Single fathers tend to be single fathers by choice because they chose to raise the kids, so the data will be skewed. You are not a single parent if the other parent is contributing financially. You are not a single parent if the other parent sees the kids, even if it's just on school holidays, because mhlampe khona uhlale Cape Town, khona uhlale isimo. You are not a single parent if you, mom, out there, your kids are being raised by your parents, the grandparents. Your mom, Koko, is raising your kids. Hey, you're not a single mother. Shut up. Your kids are being raised by Koko nomkhulu. You might be sending money. You might be a single provider. Or Umchita might be sending money as well. You're not a single mother in that instance. You're not a single mother if you're getting support from your boyfriend, from a stepfather, your new husband, from even your siblings. You're not a stepmother. You're not a single mother. You're a single mother if you're carrying the raising of the kids and the financing of these kids by yourself. The bulk, the heavy bulk. Then you're a single mother. We know what single mothers are, and we know what they aren't. A lot of these women who love the label are just either single or they happen to break up with the father. Now they like, well, by definition, I'm a single mom. No, you're not. And it insults real single mothers who are struggling and need help. Real single mothers that we actually need to applaud and be like, yo, I don't know how this woman did it. But if you're getting support from all these places, you can say, I'm not a single mother because I have support from my boyfriend and my family. But he is a deadbeat because he walked away and he's not providing for the kids. He's a deadbeat. But I'm not a single mother. I'd be lying. Because it's like I'm insulting my boyfriend who provides for these kids. I'm insulting my parents who are paying my kids' fees. Mina out there a hero. While I'm a single mother, I'm not struggling. It's just Ubabuabo is a deadbeat. Yeah, now he's got a label. I don't, because I have support. Shout out to Atama Fokati, by the way, for raising his kids where he could. And many men are forced in those instances. And the reason I was asking was because I wanted to know if the moms were providing or if they were present or whatever the case may be. But that's not really important. I had all my kids, except for my latest. I had all my kids in Joburg. All of them. At different times. I never in my brain ever planned to move away from my children. Ever. From when I made my kids, my plan was always to live with them. So my first prize would always be to live with my kids. Always. So if I was given the privilege and the honor to raise them, the same way I lived with Unkunzi in Africa for 8 years and 6 years before they went to China with their mom, I would not even ask the mothers for anything. I don't need maintenance. Where possible, and the kids, please be there for your kids. You can take them. If not you, your family is welcome anytime. There was a time where me and Upensin drove from Joburg to Durban because the grandparents were on holiday in Durban, and I took it upon myself to take the kids to Gogo Nomkhulu on the mom's side. At different times, I've taken him to Imngcwabo of the mother's family, because I'm like, this is important for my kids. I'm that type of parent where it's not about me. It's not about me and my family. These kids have got another side. So if your brother wants them for a holiday, and that's not plan, if your mom, please, these are our kids to enjoy until they're independent. Then they're going to live their lives. But first prize for me would always be for my kids to live with me. But I've come to accept that the world doesn't operate according to me, number one. And what is bittersweet for me now is that I decided to have children with beautiful, but more important than beautiful, very intelligent, very strong, independent women. What that means is that essentially, for the most part, these women are not struggling and don't necessarily need anything from me. So if ever they let me live with the kids, it will be because bayathanda, not because isimo. Shame intombazane yasemakhaya. Hayi phela mina anginamali ngacabanga ukuthi ingcono ingane iyohlala nobaba. These women are capable, they're strong, they're intelligent, they're mobile. The one mom's working in Durban, the one's working overseas. The other mothers have really amazing jobs. All of them come from really strong families. They are outspoken. The fact that two of the mothers bang baqabula through the courts, considering what a big mouth I have, should show you what formidable adversaries they are in terms of intellect, strategy, and as much as banamanga, and I believe they're narcissists, but these are not pushovers. These are not women that I can just bully. So what's bittersweet is that chances are I will never live with my kids in their younger years because the mothers are very capable. And no court will rule against them in terms of living arrangements on the basis of that I'm a better parent. It would only be if mama is really toxic to the kids. And outside of denying me access, which I think most courts would never use that as a rule, but outside of denying me access, if ever the mothers were big drug users, if ever they beat the kids bad and there was evidence, then the kids would be taken away. But outside of that, I don't see it happening.
Before I get into my next question, of Rem, please.
On the stepfather, I think I spoke about the stepfather. I wanted to speak about maintenance, but it's a whole issue on its own.
Okay.
And I wanted to speak about the cost of living for children in South Africa. I made a post. And I also wanted to speak on what I think should be the solution for broken homes. Very controversial. Very controversial. I said to Tuno Sisi Ngakane on a platform that I've created called Dope Conversations, and we unpacked the stepfather case. And afterwards, we had a debate on WhatsApp because of this solution that I've come up with, where she was not having it. But she said we'll sit and we'll speak about it again. You spoke about maintenance and the laws. One of the things that need to change is maintenance should not be based on parents' income and cost of living. That is not in the law, but it's something that needs to change if we're being honest. What happens currently with the maintenance is they look at the child's needs, very important. That I still stick to. And then they look at affordability, very important, because the child has needs, but umama nobaba mhlawumbe abaspani, etc. But then after that, they look at what's called standard of living and income, which then becomes a problem for me. Because now we're speaking to Lestori Salomchida, that's in mining. 3 kids getting 22,000 a month, 7, 14, 21 is just over 7,000 rand each in maintenance. I don't know in that case if you ole dilaspan. So Lomchitu Tumela 7 squad or per child. We don't know if the mom is contributing or anyone else in the families on both sides.
The mining guy is 60K per month.
No, that's what was ordered.
Oh,
I'm saying what he was sending.
Oh, okay,
My apologies.
Okay.
But now the 60K now takes it to 20,000 per child. Now that 20,000 which is going to jail for is not needs. We're not speaking needs now. Now we're speaking standard of living. Stepfather, same thing. It's not the child's needs. We're now speaking standard of living because Usbu makes 500,000 a month. Therefore, he must send 50,000 a month for the child. And I'm like, for me, that should not be law. Law should be like, let's look at the daughter. What are the needs? Not where is she living. We don't care about that. The needs per the Constitution is she must get a good quality education. Whether it is free from the government or at least konisgele somewhere that is affordable. 500 to 1,000 rand per month. There are schools in South Africa with those school fees. transport to school. She must live in a decent home. Even if it's ekas, it's fine. This is how much we've calculated for a decent nutrition. A breakfast, a lunch, a supper, and then impahla zokugqoka from a PEP, Ackermans, whatever. And we calculate a template for South African children and their needs. These are the needs. And you might find the needs for a ordinary South African child might come up to 2,000 a month. So the law will say, sir, we will order you to pay 2,000 rand a month or half of it if the mom is coming in. Now, if you happen to make R1 million a month, Baba, it is now up to you if you'd like to bump it up from 2,000 to 10 to 15. That's on you. But we cannot force you to send 20,000 rand a child and then arrest you. Uguti ngane yakho is not eating ice cream, not buying from Woolies, not going to a top expensive school, doesn't have a comprehensive medical aid. Those are no longer needs. And I would even argue that your punishment or your arrest is almost unconstitutional because you're not violating anyone's rights, especially your kids. 7,000 rand a month that you're contributing as itime to ingane yakho is not oppressing your child. Imali yokuphila leyo. Iholo. The average South African doesn't even earn 7,000. And you're sending 7. And we have to ask, is your old lady contributing something? If your old lady is contributing another 2,000 per child, that's 9,000. Those kids can live a very comfortable life. But we're saying, because you're only sending 7 and not 20, we're sending you to jail. That thing for me needs to change. So the cost of living, I think, needs to be added as a suggested optional consideration. But the father must say, Nyamzonda lo mama, whatever, I'm only going to send 3,000, etc. And we're like, we can't force anything beyond this mama because the child's needs are covered. So you're fine. Ungamkhaleli ukuthi athumele more, but that's on him. The other thing I said was, okay, I spoke about income. The controversial point, and I don't think we have much time.
Maybe let's push another 10 minutes.
Okay. We have too much freedom in South Africa today. And the freedom we have is the reason why we have so many broken homes. I'll use myself as a case study. If I had been forced to go through a very grueling process to marry the mother of my first child before we had a child, and it took me maybe 3 years and some type of training, and her same, to have a child, and then to get into the marriage to have a child is that difficult. And then to get out of that marriage is also difficult. People like myself would not have as many kids with different women as we'd like. Kids would not be raised in broken homes. We have too much freedom. I can meet a girl on Friday night. We can start dating. On Saturday morning, we can break up and we carry on with our lives. Stroll for 12 hours because of freedom. People get into marriage. I don't know how much marriage costs, 70 rand or free. People get out of marriage for another 50 rand, 70 rand, divorce. It is that easy to get into something and get out. It is as easy as susi condom to make a baby during ovulation. Now there's a child, now your whole life is upside down. Nahamba makot, nkokama maintenance, and kanda ma video about a DEADBEAT, all because of that one schoon session. So we have an issue with freedom. Per the Children's Act, we want to put the children first. And that's a great thought. For me, a better thought is putting the family and society first. Because if we put the family and society first, it should be in the best interest of the child. Where two parents have failed to create a nuclear home, a nuclear family for the children, those children should be taken away from both parents. The child should not be raised by umama. Those children should be sent to boarding school. And both parents should have to contribute. It should only be that if ubaba says, no, my child mustn't go to boarding school, I'm happy to say umama must live with the child, then sure. Then umama can stay with the child. But the standard default should be, you guys are no longer together. You guys are splitting. You guys are not going to live together. Nzomeneza listen to Coparenting. Okay, the law says, because in Hlulekile, ingane siyayithatha thina as the government. And because it's siyayithatha, so we fake boarding school. Sorry, David Fincher is the name of the director I was looking for. Concol. David Fincher. But yeah, that's my controversial take. And it probably needs a lot of work, but I think it would be a great default because it doesn't disadvantage the other parent. And both parents can then share the kids during school holidays. And both parents at any given time can go visit ingane skele. If you love your child that much, every afternoon, uyahambe boarding school uyoyibona ingane yakho. Every weekend ingane yakho madlala sport uyahambe uyoyibuka. And then holidays you split. But the child is not going to live with one parent over another one and make it unfair.
The frequently asked questions, they called about the FAQs, right?
Yeah.
Regarding child maintenance in South Africa. What is the law on child maintenance? Under South African law, children have the right to receive financial maintenance. Both parents are required to provide financial support for the child. Both parents.
Both parents.
A child is entitled to reasonable maintenance, to provide for clothing, housing, dental, medical care, education and training, and where applicable. How much should a father pay for child maintenance in South Africa? In our law, there is no set amount, what you're saying earlier, that a parent should pay for maintenance in respect for their child. And each case is decided based on the situation. You can read further. You can go Google it. Older article. What is Section 37 of the child maintenance? Actually, Section 37, I think, has to do with what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Those laws that are going to be enforced now. But
And the formula. There's a formula as well that they use. It all falls under that.
But if you don't pay your child maintenance, they can come for your assets.
Sure.
And attach. They say it is a criminal offense to disclose any information regarding a maintenance matter, except if required for purposes of performing any functions under this act, or when required to do so by any court. And I advise Amachita to go and understand these acts, not just to understand these laws, because they are armor, all of us. Can a mother deny a father access to his child? Of course, we all know an answer to that. What happens if a man doesn't pay child maintenance? We already know what happens to that. Can a mother withhold a child from the father in South Africa? We already know. Does an unemployed father have to pay maintenance in South Africa? That's quite an interesting one.
Yeah.
The short answer is yes. Both parents still need to maintain their child or children according to their means.
Yeah.
To deliberately go unemployed will not free you from your maintenance obligations. The parent's duty of support is not dependent on employment status. And then I'll go to the last three. What is Section 4? How is maintenance calculated in South Africa? To calculate child maintenance, the court will generally follow a formula based on the non-custodial parent's income. The formula provides for a percentage of non-custodial parent's income to be paid as child maintenance. And I'm reading these things ngamabomu because I'm trying to send as many guys who are invested in this episode as possible for us to take these matters seriously. And wrapping it up quickly, what is the new child maintenance law? Let's double click there. The new law introduces a formula based on the non-custodial parent's income to determine the amount of child maintenance they must pay. The percentage varies depending on the number of children they are required to support. Defaulters tend to conceal their income sources to avoid paying. It's quite a very, very long conversation that I would have loved for us to have had. I've got more things that I wanted us to talk about on this episode. Maybe we can have a part 2.
Sure. But we must also talk about these things over and over. If kona lang bete corner, if anywhere where we lied or whatever, people must correct us because we're not claiming to be the law unto ourselves. We're also constantly learning. The laws are constantly changing. And the reason we have these conversations is not to say this is the beginning and the end. It's to say, let's carry on talking because we want to build better families. All of us, including myself. I'd love to have my children become the best version of themselves, to see mom and dad, to be provided for by mom and dad. It's not because Snake is Zimbi and we're trying to hurt each other. I'd like to think we're all trying to do the best. It's just in that because of emotions and however people do things. Konabantu that stop, there are people that forget what is the most important thing. And the most important thing is the child, but also with the child, the mom and the dad. The whole family must be put first and everyone must be happy. It can't just be Ingane is happy, but Ubaba's dying inside or Umama's dying inside because that can't be in the best interest of the child.
And then wrapping it up, guys, go check out Section 27 of the Maintenance Act. And maybe let me just angike phezulu ngamafu, warrant of execution. Additionally, they're saying here the Maintenance Act provides in 27 in brackets 1 that if the movable property attached is insufficient to recover maintenance arrears, the immovable property can be attached and sold in execution to the amount necessary to cover the maintenance arrears. And this was back in 2022. But go check out I don't want to call it latest laws or new laws. I know we're talking about it on the radio, but go research that one as well. But you're correct. We need to speak more often about these issues. These are everyday issues and matters that impact a lot of South Africans' lives. And when we spoke about this topic, geez, an influx of calls, bro.
Sure.
Like, it was one of those topics that it drove a lot of traffic. And some people even became emotional. When they were sending voice notes, you could hear, there was one person who was even crying.
Sure.
And another guy sent in a voice note and said, you know, guys, it's so emotional what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm going through the most. And as he's going through that voice note, he's speaking, he just started breaking out crying. And he even says, "God, I'm actually going to park on the side of the road because this is so sensitive."
Sure.
So it is a very sensitive matter. May the good Lord bless you, bro. And I hope that you do get eventually to sort this one out, you know. But yeah, I'd like to say it again that I don't think it's a solution to decide to
Sure.
be a deadbeat and not support your children.
Sure. No, I don't support deadbeats as well. My biggest prayer, my biggest wish, my biggest desire is for the mothers to have a change of heart. If the mothers have a change of heart, I mean, the other mothers and I co-parent very, very pleasantly, very healthily. If the mothers can have a change of heart, I'm here. I'm not a monster. I'm not fighting. I'm here for the kids. I don't care which one it's like, let's just raise warriors. That's all. I'm ready when you are. That's the number one. Failing which, I'm hoping that my kids grow up to become strong and have the sensitivity and the empathy to understand how complex this thing was and to know that both their parents love them very much. And these were just adult problems that manifested in various ways. And I hope, this is one of my fears, by the way, I hope my kids, when they grow up, for whatever reason, never mind the story today, I hope they don't at any point hate their moms. That is something I wish for. They can be angry, they can maybe judge, and they mustn't pick sides. They mustn't pick sides. They must be like, this is my mom, this is my dad. Bobabili bashama flop. Nyabancane yabo too. But yeah, let me push my life. I don't want to have daddy and mommy issues. I want to be strong and I want to live a full life. But better. Let's move forward.
And lastly, what advice would you give? I know you don't also have all the answers, but what advice would you give to Amachita that are going through same?
Educate yourself, man. Educate yourself. It's a lot and it's tough. By the way, the law forces you to pay maintenance even if you are prevented from seeing your child. So it's not an excuse, but these are the laws that I think must change, personally. Educate yourself, understand the law. If you can, the process is very straightforward from me. If you don't see your kids, try and engage the mom as healthily as possible. Ask your brother, your sister, someone close to engage. If awufuni, can you drop the kids with my mother, with my siblings, so I can see the child there? Because clearly the issue's with me. Failing which, you go to her family. You try and see if the families can sit together and find a solution. If the solution is ingane mayivashele ugogo on the mom's side, ugogo will visit ugogo on the father's side, so that at least the family sees. If the families can't get together and there's a breakdown, you go to the courts. There's the children's court or the family court. And you go and you start the process. You start with mediation. They're going to bring in a family advocate. They try and sit with the mom and the dad to find out what's going on. If you guys can reach a resolution, you draft the parenting plan and it moves on. If you don't, you unfortunately have to go and open a case in the court. You sit with the magistrate. This is a long process, by the way. I know I'm just mentioning it in passing. It's a very long process. You sit with the magistrate listens, they send you back to the family advocate. If still no resolution, the magistrate will then force you guys to actually have a parenting plan. Whether mama or baba agrees or disagrees. You get a forced parenting plan, which becomes an order of the court. If any of the parents renege on that parenting plan, you are now violating a court order and you should be arrested. Sadly, the courts, as I've said, specifically in my experience and other people's, the courts don't punish as much as we'd like, mama, when they keep kids from the fathers. And we're seeing now stories like the maintenance issue, which, by the way, maintenance is not, it is part of the children's court, but it is almost a separate court because maintenance deals with children, spouse, what we know as alimony. That's why umama can give you ingane yakho, or should give you ingane yakho, even if you're not maintaining. And if she has an issue, she goes to a maintenance court. Even if you're not seeing the child, she can still take you to maintenance court because there are rights and responsibilities of parents. The sad thing is there's a big focus on the fathers, and especially fathers who are not married to the moms. And I really think we need to revisit these laws. And I'm still going to say this, and I know people don't like it, but we need to have the conversation. Where mom and dad have split and they are children, take the children away from them. Put the children in boarding school. Yeah, it's not a nice one for anyone. But if the father says, then it's like, okay, you had the option. But if there's an issue, like for example, Baba keeps going to court, she won't let me see the kids. Okay, Mama, we're taking this kid, putting them in boarding school. Baba, don't come back here. You want to see your child Mama can't now deny you at the school. If you're telling us the school's denying you, then the school needs to be investigated. But mom and dad, the child is there. There's no fighting. I answered her. She didn't pick up. She said she's not home. The child is there at school. School, weekends, you're there. What. And then holidays, this holiday is mine, that holiday is yours. But take the child away from a potentially toxic parent. Put the child in a neutral space. And if we can have, we have a lot of good boarding schools. You put the child in a school, then a space with other kids, and boarding schools, a healthier space. There are teachers, Konama warden, they playing with other kids, and mom and dad come wherever. Over 5-6 years, the time never shows up at boarding school. The mom can even go and be like, this guy's never shown up. And the court can be like, oh, we've seen. Time never shows up. He never takes the child for holidays. Aye, mama, you can take the kid sesibonile out for ourselves. But in the past, and we find solutions. But guys must stay strong and need to emphasize, I do not support deadbeat fathers. I do understand many of them. I think that's one of the other topics we won't get to cover because of time. There are many men who are forced to become fathers being afuni. So women have got so many exit options for becoming moms. She can be on contraceptives, umjolo, the loop, the implant, the patch, the pill. She can take a morning after pill if there was a oopsie mistake. She can decide before 5 months, I think it is now, to abort. These are all her options. She can also abstain to not be a mom. Umchita, same as the woman, has only got a condom or abstinence as their fallback. Because there are many men that have paid for Mary Stopes, abortion clinic. There are many men that have paid for morning afters. There are many men who have been lied to by women. I'm on contraceptives. It's fine. You don't have to wear a condom. And she's lying. And they end up becoming a timer. And they get forced to become fathers. People be like, but use a condom. It's like, sure, but you don't say the same thing to women who have all these other options, to get out of the responsibility. There is a law which is very sad for me. It's a very sad law. There is a law to forego your parental responsibilities. Men can actually go and apply to court and say, I don't want to be responsible for this child. And you can get a law that says, Mama, the child is yours. Ubaba's not liable for maintenance. He's not liable to see the child because he's foregone the rights of this child, which means he forgoes the responsibilities. But the problem with that law as well, as difficult as it is, because no sane guy would want to forego ingane yabo, even if it was a one-night stand. The problem with that law for me is at any given time, the father can come back and say, I'm ready to be a father. Because he's like, I'm ready. The court goes back to, again, what's in the best interest of the child? And you're like, that doesn't seem fair to me. But there is a law like that. Other guys get assholes and they need to do better. And we that don't have nyugu. That's not an excuse to be a deadbeat father. There are so many ways to provide for children. You've got a family. You can ask them, even if it's not money. When udlani, whatever food you're eating, keep once a week or every other day, you selling you can teach your child how to ride a bike, help your child with homework, take your child to school, attend school events. Some of these schools you can volunteer at the school, even though it doesn't contribute financially, and just be a positive role model in your child's life. But get as many people, your friends, everyone to try and help. And once you have the child with you, man, people will be like, it'll be like, my dad didn't have money, but I was always with him and his friends. DJ, and those cool things. And that's the beauty of having a present father. And many people are denied, but people want to suck your money. And I think there's something fundamentally wrong there, and I'm trying to find solutions.
Chance, be strong. It's a very sensitive one. It's a very deep one. I'm sure it's going to create a lot of conversations in the comment section. Let's meet over there. But I wish you guys all of the best. But if you can, as PENUEL has said, go out there and fight tooth and nail. Do whatever you can to be able to be to get an opportunity to see your children, because there's nothing as beautiful as just being with that little one. You know, whether you're going shopping, you're driving with them, whether you're playing with them, you're not doing anything on a Sunday. Do you know what I mean? The greatest feeling is when you're appearing, you haven't seen them in a while, and they just come running, Daddy, you know, and they just jump and they just hold you so tight. It's just, those are some of the things that I can never explain, but it's a beautiful thing to be a parent. I couldn't and I wouldn't trade it for any other thing. I wish you guys all of the best. PENUEL, the black pen. Danko.